sis. Welcome to the Independence of Me video blog. I'm really excited about this topic because I'm going to be sharing what I believe is my independence journey. Each woman has their own, and this is mine. What independence of me means to me is being able to be independent in my own. We celebrate Independence Day in this country, and I didn't feel like doing a 4th of July Independence Day post. I felt like right now with the things going on in the world, I didn't feel like that was necessary. So instead of doing a post about the independence of America, I'm doing an independence post of me and how I came to be as independent as I am and as empowered as I am in my own independence. I'm really excited about this topic because independence and empowerment, that's what I'm all about. And I want to share my journey with you about how I got to that point. But before I get into the nitty-gritty, I want to share a story with you. It's a story about a girl that's really self-conscious about her body. She's a teenager, and she's really self-conscious about her body. She does not like what she sees. Haven't we all been there? She wishes she could change a lot. Fast forward several years later, and this girl is now a woman. She's in her late 30s, and she decides that she is no longer going to let her body conscious issues get to her. She wants to have a healthier relationship with her boyfriend. She wants to feel good about what she sees in the mirror. And she wants to help others that may feel that lack of confidence or self-esteem. So she starts working on herself, and she starts going to therapy, and she starts reading affirmations to herself, telling herself, you're beautiful, you're kind, you're capable, you're independent. And the season summer starts. And usually this woman is very self-conscious about going out in public wearing shorts. And her reasonings for this is because she doesn't want to make anybody uncomfortable about the way she looks. So it's not about this woman's comfortability. It's about she's trying to make sure that everyone around her is comfortable. So she decides that she's tired of it. She's not going to let her negative thoughts about assumptions that people may or may not think dictate her life. And she's going to put on a pair of shorts, and she's going to go for a walk. She's going to go run errands. She's going to just live her life the way that she wants to live her life. And she feels empowered. All her favorite songs are coming through her earbuds. All the negativity is washing away with each step that she takes. And nothing happens. The world doesn't crash. No accusations are thrown. She's just able to live her life. That realization that woman came to That is what I mean when I say the independence of me. About you bursting through those self-conscious mirrors, those glass ceilings of negativity and hate, those words and statements that are bringing you down, that are keeping you from your independence. The independence of me is you discovering your dreams, you going after your passions, you deciding, instead of saying one day it's going to happen, you decide to take the steps to make it happen now. That's what the independence of me is. And I feel like that's much more badass of celebrating myself than the 4th of July. My opinion, but I'm sure others would agree with me. And I'm so glad that I have this independence of me, that the past, I want to say, 4 years, I've been working on myself. I've been trying to get my mindset better. I've been working out mentally, physically, spiritually, that I've been connecting with other people, other women that have the same vision as me, that want to empower others, that want to give and uplift, that want to make a difference in the community. The independence of me is getting contagious. And the more I do this, the more I see other people, other women that I touch, networking with others, and just being able to do things that expand Call Your Sister and that touch you. I love the feeling that I get when I'm talking to my sisters. I know that I'm in my living room while I'm recording this, but I visualize all of you. I visualize all of my 200 followers on my Facebook business page. I visualize all of my 113 followers on my Facebook group. I visualize all 38 of my subscribers to Call Your Sister. I visualize all the many followers on Instagram and YouTube that check in and post and like and comment. I visualize all of you watching this at the same time and being just as inspired as I am in creating this. And that is the goal, because that is you branching out on your own independence of me.
Hello, my sisters. My topic today is the independence of me. And until I was about 20, I never fully felt independent. In my 20s was the first time I left home. I was actually from under the influence of my mom. And because in my mom's house, you were not independent. I don't care how old you were. So in my 20s, I had moved to Texas. I was responsible for me and my young son. And prior to that, I was very shy. I could not speak up in public. My sister did all my talking when we were growing up, so I never found my voice in the world. And so I remember the first time I went to apply for a teaching position, and I was so terrified, and I didn't know what I was going to say, and how was I going to get this job, and what were these people going to think about me, and I don't have enough experience, and I just ran myself ragged. So what I did was I got off the bus on the other side of the campus from where the appointment was. the interview was. I got off the bus on the other side of the campus. I walked all the way across the campus back to my interview place, and I talked myself out of being afraid. I just simply said, you're going to do this. You have every expectation. You should have every expectation of being successful. If they don't accept you, it is not on you, it's on them. So, long story short, I went in, I did the interview, I got the job. When I knew that I had the job, I was just ecstatic. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, I did this on my own. Nobody had to coach me. I did this. It's like, okay, from now on, nobody's going to keep me quiet. So that's why I talk a lot now. So that was in my 20s. I discovered my voice. I discovered that I could speak up for what I wanted. I could get my professional needs met through gaining employment. I could be successful in taking care of my son. And it just gave me a boost of independence that I still carry around with me today. In my 30s, that sense of independence remained, but it changed a little bit. The independence of me in my 30s was quite different from the independence of me in my 20s. By the time I was 30, I had 2 small children. I was married, and I was the director of an infant toddler program in an early childhood center. And I was cruising. Do you hear me? This was the best part of my life. I look back on those times now, and it gives me nothing but pleasure. And the years that I was working and contributing and providing and spending time with my family and watching my children grow and flourish and become independent and have friends, and it was just a very exciting time for me. But what I found in my 30s was my spiritual independence. That's when I became a lot more active in, I found a church home that accepted me, that I could get behind the principles that they were teaching, and I became a member of that church. And they had wonderful outreach programs. They had neighborhood programs. They had the community outreach of this church was fantastic. And that's actually what I enjoyed. They had wonderful fellowships and programs in place, and I began to teach, minister the children's church. And so I'm still working with children, which is my lifelong passion. I am learning and growing in my faith. I am becoming more outspoken. I'm now able to stand before 6th graders and talk, and not feel like they are judging me, or feel overwhelmed by their questions, or feel like I don't know what's going on. I felt like I was being led and guided in a role that was my purpose. I really embraced the spiritual aspects of my independence. It allowed me to know God in a way that I never knew before. It allowed me to be able to express my love for God, to begin to ask Him about my behaviors, to begin to look in the Word of God to seek the changes that I needed to make in my life, so that I wouldn't grow into a bitter, angry, grouchy woman in my later years. And so I had the independence of me to realize that I am a separate person from all of those connected to me. I'm going to say that again. Being independent, celebrating the independence of me, meant that I didn't have to answer to anyone. Of course, I took in the advice of those that I respected. Of course, my husband's opinion mattered greatly to me. But if there was something that I truly desired to do and I put my mind to it, I had to let the naysayers know they couldn't stop me. They couldn't stop me. And I think that was really the budding of my true independence, because I began to realize that the only person stopping me from truly being independent, from truly experiencing life the way that I wanted to, the only person that was stopping me was me. And when I found the spiritual independence of me, when I found the financial independence of me in working in a career that fulfilled me, and having a spiritual connection to a God that supports me, and having the reassurance of my family, their love, their support, having those conversations with my husband, those are the things that created the whole me that you see before you now. And so my independence may have been shaped when I began taking shape in my 20s, continued to grow in my 30s. And I want to believe that that independence of me hasn't stopped. In my 40s, I truly had to become independent. My mother passed away. My children didn't require as much of my attention. I had to find other ways to express the independence of me. So that's when I began to write short stories. I began to write poetry, and I began to journal, because I could pour out all of these hopes and these dreams that I had for my family and for myself onto these pages, and then I had a plan. Now I can work this. Some things that I wanted to do didn't work out. That's okay. I was still growing. And that is the importance of being independent. Yes, you have connections to family and friends and a spiritual connection, I hope. And of course, you have relationships that you cherish and that mean a lot to you. But in the still of the night, when you are all by yourself, can you be with yourself? To me, that is the true independence of me. I have shared with you the independence of Via. I hope something that I said has inspired you, has elevated you, has encouraged you. Hey, remember, you can always call your sister.